Welcome back. Well, let's now talk about individual stocks that you need to focus on. We have our team standing by with the list as usual. Nigel, you tell us what's been the whole buzz around cement stocks.
Well, that's right. Yesterday as well, you did see the stocks move up because there was this buzz that there will be increased focus on rural housing. And the cabinet has decided to further expand the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. They will build 3 crore more affordable rural as well as urban homes. And that's why, in fact, the street believes there will be higher consumption of cement. And this decision, they believe, well, it underscores the government's commitment to addressing the housing needs of the nation itself. Under this particular scheme, in the last 10 years, they've seen close to around 4.21 crore homes that have already been built. So this number, incremental number of around 3 crores, looks rather large. Explains why the cement companies were up, and maybe they hold strong as well. Regional pockets will do well because of various other reasons, like we've seen the South pocket do well because of Mr. Naidu coming back as the CM. But otherwise, cement could get some kind of support for this. In fact, we'll get an analyst in the next 20 minutes or so to further analyze this piece of news. But let's hop across to Vivek. He's here. He's tracking a bunch of stocks. Vivek, run us through the list.
Well, that's right. So what we're looking at today is 3 large block deals that are expected to take place, at market open itself. We accessed all 3 of the term sheets for these particular block deals. So the first one on our list and the largest one is Interglobe Aviation. Now here, the promoter entity itself, Interglobe Enterprises, which held a little over 37.5% stake in the company, is expected to pair close to 2% stake today via a block deal. The base size of the block deal is 4,266 rupees a share, which is a 7% discount to yesterday's close. The total size of the block deal is close to 3,300 crore rupees. Now, IRB Infra is the other one. Now, remember, just a few days ago, the promoter entity had paired some stake via a block deal. Today, one of the private equity investors, which is Sintra, which is an associate of Ferrovial. Now, this particular entity is looking to sell close to almost 5% stake in the entire company. They held around 24.86% stake at the end of the previous quarter. The deal price range indicates a discount of up to 10.2% equity, and at that particular band, the total deal size is 1,900 crore. There is a lockup of 150 days on further sale of shares in case the entire deal goes through today. And lastly, watch out for Honasa Consumer as well. 2 strategic investors, Fireside Ventures and Sofina Partners, they are expected to pair stake today. The total upsize deal could be close to 2% of the total equity. Fireside Ventures held 5.28% stake. Sofina Ventures held 6.16% stake at the end of the previous quarter. And the total size of this particular deal could be close to 273 crores if the total entire 2% gets sold today.
Abhishek, thanks very much. So that's what 5,500 crores worth of sort of stock coming to the market, largely from promoters, early investors, etc., etc. So block sales are hitting hard. But let's get back to stocks. Transformers and Rectifiers, TRIL, stocks had a sort of rocketing move higher, and now there is a QIP. Abhishek is here with details. Abhishek, morning.
Good morning, Prashant. So, Transformers and Rectifiers, they have launched a QIP. Size is about rupees 500 crore. Now, the indicative price is about 665 per share, which is at a steep discount of 9.4% to yesterday's closing price. So, total equity dilution is around 5.3%. The use of proceeds, as mentioned in the term sheet, is that they will use it for funding capex, repayments of borrowings, any inorganic opportunity, and general corporate purpose as well. So, lockup period is about 60 days subject to certain exceptions, and the book running lead manager is Nuvama Wealth, which is erstwhile Edelweiss Securities Limited. Back to you.
Okay, all right, got that, Abhishek. Thanks very much. So we'll watch out for Transformers and Rectifiers. Back to Vivek then. Vivek, you're watching out for some more names. Tell us.
Well, that's right. I'm watching out for RVNL today. The company has gone ahead and given couple of updates to the exchanges on 2 orders. Number one is a consortium of Siemens as well as RVNL has emerged as L1 and has now received the LOA, the letter of award, for Bangalore Metro Rail Corp project. Now the total size of the project is 394 crore. Siemens share in this particular JV is 70%, RVNL is the remainder 30%. It's also given another update. They've emerged as the lowest bidder for a central railway project, and this particular project is worth 138 crore. On the other hand, one stock that could act or react on the downside today is KIOCL. The company says it has halted operations of the pellet plant in Mangalore due to ongoing downward trend as far as the pellet market conditions are concerned.
Okay, all right, Vivek. Thanks a lot for that. Well, let's go across to Vamakshi. She's here to tell us about Vodafone Idea and JBM Auto. 2 more stocks on our radar. Vamakshi, morning.
Well, Well, good morning, Nigel. Let me first start off with Vodafone Idea. Board meeting is scheduled on June 13th. They will be considering a proposal for issuance of equity shares as well as convertible securities on a preferential basis. After following the fundraise, this seems like another measure taken by the company to strengthen its balance sheet. They're expected to make this proposal towards vendors. So overall, it bodes well for Vodafone Idea. I expect the stock to open higher today. JBM Auto also on our radar. Its arm JBM Electric Vehicles has signed an agreement with MUON India Private Limited, which is a Macquarie Group company. And under this agreement, they're expected to supply nearly 2,000 EV buses and they will be deployed over the next couple of years. JBM initially received an order of 43 buses in the month of April, and the delivery for this order actually started only in 1 month of receipt of the order. And this entire order of 43 buses was completed on June 10th. So overall, bodes well for JBM Auto. Expect the stock to open higher today.
All right. Vamshi, thanks very much for that. Poonawalla Fincorp is the next one which we're focusing on. Abhishek is here to tell us why. Abhishek, morning.
Morning, Prashant. So, stock was down over 8% yesterday in trade. Now, bulk trade data shows that Abhay Bhutra, who is the MD of the firm, sold about 72 lakh shares at about 437 per share. This aggregates to about 332 crore worth of selling that took place in the counter yesterday. Now, holding pattern does show that he must have held 78.2 lakh shares, which is now about 97% of that got sold yesterday in trade. So stock closed below 200 DMA yesterday in terms of the price movement, and yesterday's volume was the highest that you are seeing in last 3 months, coming in at 643 crores. Back to you.
Okay, that's Poonawalla Finance. Fincorp will keep an eye on that. Abhishek, thanks very much for that. Well, with that, let's quickly recap our list of top stocks to watch this morning. The ones that have positive news flow around them are, of course, the entire cement pack, RVNL, Vodafone Idea, JBM Auto, and Poonawalla Fincorp. Stocks with some negative news flow around them are IRB, Infra, Honasa Consumer, Interglobe Aviation. All these are on the back of expected blocks. TRIL, Transformers and Rectifiers India, and KIOCL. Okay, with that now, let's shift the focus to the commodity markets and find out what's the latest over there. Manisha, morning. So those yields are still high. That dollar is still high. Okay, by the way, Manisha, as we're talking to you, we're getting shots from all the new ministers who are now heading to their ministries, taking charge. Ashwini Vaishnaw, I don't know which one he's taking charge of right now. Is he heading to railways or INB? Because he's got a couple of different portfolios. But of course, he's the man in focus. And of course, someone who's been well celebrated for his role in railways. The market, of course, has been extremely happy with the way policy has centered around a lot of the railway PSUs. And we've seen what's happened to those stocks. And the market would hope for continuity, more policy reforms when it comes to the Indian railways. So, yeah. And also, of course, electronics, IT, all of those fall under him. So that's Mr. Vaishnav, of course, in sharp focus this morning. But Manisha, back to you. I was saying that, dollar is higher, yields are higher. What impact is that having on the commodity universe? What's top of mind?
Oh, well, the last week wasn't so great for commodities, but this week we've seen some support coming back, and that is because of the FOMC meeting. Well, the two-day meeting begins today. The U.S. inflation data also is tomorrow. So those are going to be a couple of important events to watch out for. But in the meanwhile, we have seen some opportunity buying in many commodities. So the crude oil price has gained up by 2.5% overnight. The U.S. summer season demand seems to be supportive. Also, there is U.S. crude purchasing for its petroleum reserve as the WTI is below 79. That seems to be supportive as well. And then Goldman Sachs, UBS believe that the third quarter of this year could be looking at strong demand, higher demand, and a deficit coming back in case of crude prices. So markets really doing a bit of a forward buying right now. Some support is what we've seen come back in metals also, with copper prices are off its 5-week lows. Gold and silver trading in the positive right now. Iron ore and zinc prices gained up by nearly a percentage point overnight. Many of these commodities are buy on dips. I mean, even with the kind of movement that we've seen in commodities, it still is not a sell kind of a market. Buying on dips continues, and that's exactly what we've seen in many of these.
Okay, all right, Manisha, thanks a lot for joining in and giving us that neat wrap of what's going on in the commodity markets as well. For the time being, we slip into a short break. On the other side, we have Amnish Agarwal of Prabhudas Lilladher who will be joining in to help us out with some fundamental analysis. Stay with us.